So we all love a good skill move, but it also seemed to me that the crazier and more advanced a skill move looks, the more people love it. So in today's video, I've gathered no less than 50 crazy, weird, advanced looking skill moves that you can use to humiliate defenders and just create crazy stuff on the pitch. So if you are looking for new skills, this video is perfect. And if you're looking to look cool, it's even more perfect. So enjoy!
Each situation calls for different skill moves, so that is why in today's video I'm going to teach you guys one dribble, one takedown, and one warm-up skill that you can do with your friends. And it is important to note that you train these skill moves a lot before you take it out on the pitch. First up, we got the McGeady spin, made famous by the beloved Irish winger Aidan McGeady. Now, this is a perfect skill move to leave the defenders in the dust because you're doing such a simple and common turn followed by a directional touch. Now, to do this, all you need to do is do a Cruyff turn with your strong foot, which is basically just an inside touch behind your weak leg. Now, after you've done that, just do a directional touch with your weak foot towards your weak side. And in the end, it's gonna look like this. Next up, we got the Neymar touch, made famous by, you know, Neymar. Now, apart from the entertainment value, this skill move is absolutely unnecessary. There are plenty of ways to take down the ball that are way more efficient and way more safe than the Neymar touch. But I'm gonna teach you guys anyway. So to do this Neymar touch, all you need to do is jump with cross legs like this and then lift your back leg up a little bit higher. And you want to touch the ball with the inside of your foot, but it is very important that you anticipate where the ball is gonna land and you anticipate the speed of the ball to get it right. It is also very important that you train this skill move a lot in training before you take it out on the game, because if you fail, your coach might sub you right off. And finally, we got the Ronaldinho flick to AK 3000, which was most likely invented by Izzy Hitman, but has also been done by pro players like Bart Ramselaar and Barcelona player Serginho Dest. Now, to do this trick, you need to know how to do the Ronaldinho flick, which is basically just rolling the ball with one foot onto your other foot, like this. But as the ball hits your foot, just lift your toes up slightly to get that little flick up. And as you've done that, step over the ball like this and let the ball go up around here. Now, this is where it gets difficult because you need to turn away from the ball and then lift your leg up, hit it with your knee, extend your leg and kick the ball out. In the videos of Bart Ramselaar and Serginho Dest, you can see that the ball goes back to them, and that all depends on how you angle your foot when you extend your leg. So if you extend your leg like this, it will go like a pass. If you lift it up more vertically, it will go to yourself.
Secondly, we have the scoop turn, which is quite cool and somewhat effective if you need to turn on a very tight spot and the defender is pretty close to you. What you basically do here is that you gently almost caress the edge of the ball in a circle-like motion, so you don't kick it, you scoop it round. And you can do some filthy stuff with this. Basically, you start approaching the ball using the back part of your midfoot, you touch it, and then you, in this scooping motion, spin on your weak foot to give a circle-like motion to the ball. Now it's gonna start rotating and you're gonna end up actually touching it with your toes, which is also gonna make it a little bit easier to direct and adjust the angle of the exit of the scoop when the defender comes in. So again, it's important that you don't make two kicks. That's not the same move. You scoop it. So come in here a bit. So you can either go for the nutmeg. You might not get the nutmeg, but as long as you beat your man, you're gonna be okay. So you're gonna come in, right. The next trick is something that I don't actually know the name of, but it is essentially a double 90-degree V drag back, or you could basically also call it a one-footed Marseille turn, if you will. But I actually like it a little bit better than the Marseille turn because you can protect the ball a little bit better with your body. So let's say that I want to go to my left. I want to turn to my left, right? If I do the Marseille turn, I have to use my left foot, my weak foot, opening up for Phil to come in and tackle. And I will do the turn. But here, you can do the turn with the same foot, put your body in between Phil and the ball, then drag it back, do the 90-degree spin, drag it back again, and exit the move. It's that simple, and I love it.
He loves it.
I love it. The last trick doesn't have a name either, I think, so let's call it the Carrasco Filth 3000, because Yannick Carrasco did Santiago Arias from PSV really dirty with this move. Phil, come on in here, you're Arias. Sorry, buddy. Why do you come? Anyways, you're gonna hold off the defender using your arm, then you're gonna roll the ball backwards with the sole of your foot, you turn, and as the defender then lunges in, you tap the ball backwards with your left and out with your right. He's gonna go to the floor, try to stop you, and gonna look ridiculous. Now this is basically the tap move. It's basically a croqueta, but with taps instead of that really smooth motion. And I'll be honest, you probably won't have many chances to do this in matches. When the moment is there, this is total, utter humiliation. And that's what people want, right?
Number 1. The Scorpion Save. First up, we have a classic move by the legendary René Higuita. The first time I saw this, I almost couldn't believe it, because not only do you need the skills to actually do it, but you certainly also need the guts and the bravery to pull this one off in a real game. And I know it was a friendly, but still. And then it actually worked. Unbelievable, Jeff.
Unbelievable, Jeff!
Next up is the ass pass, which is a more unusual pass from Neymar that turned out to be quite never mind. Wesley Sneijder, though, had a bit more luck, but it's a weird pass, and while the potential for it to work is there, it's just, yeah, no. Number 3, the back pass. A bit similar to the Neymar ass pass, we have the back pass as the third skill, which actually also worked. This time it's performed by Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, a lot of other guys, and actually also by Neymar himself. And with the ball coming from above, it's apparently a more or less obvious choice to pass it with your back for some of these guys. If you have the skills, I guess. It looks pretty weird, but hey, it worked. Number 4. The schoolyard combination. This fourth one will be a tribute to all of you creative guys in the schoolyards making up weird combinations and then convincing the rest of your friends to try them out. Now, I'm not really sure about the actual intention here, what they were trying to do, but it certainly created enough confusion to leave space for a solid header. And you know what they say, if it's stupid but it works, it's not stupid. Number 6 is the handspring throw-in. Here we have the so-called flip throwing, which is a skill that we see here and there, but especially in the lower leagues. But despite looking really weird and borderline illegal, it's actually wildly effective thanks to the momentum you get to make a direct, powerful long throw. And if you do this right, it's perfectly within the rules of the game. I mean, you risk breaking your neck, but at least it's legal. Number 7. Did you fall for that? Pun intended? Because at number 7, we found a skill, if you can call it a skill, which I'm pretty sure wasn't planned, but it still turned out to work really well. I wouldn't necessarily try to do this on purpose in a game, but it's maybe a choice for you who is completely out of shooting ideas or are just in general very, very clumsy. Number 8, the back heel pass. Do you also sometimes imagine this super mega uber cool trick in your head that would fit certain situations perfectly? You probably do, yeah. Can you then do that super mega uber cool trick in a match? Probably not, but this guy could. Now, I don't even want to start thinking about how many attempts I'd need to pull it off, but hats off for trying it and landing it in a match. Number 9, the Svensson Special 3000. And there's not much to say about Jonas Svensson's unique pass here from Rosenborg's match against Sogndal in 2015, other than it's weird, it shouldn't work, but it did, and it was awesome. Number 10, the Jokinen backflip penalty. Lastly, we have to include the backflip penalty by Jonas Jokinen. I mean, I'm not sure I actually get the point of it other than being the biggest show-off penalty ever taken. But it's so weird and so epic at the same time that I'm glad it worked out so I could actually put it on the list. Of course, needless to say, don't try this yourself in a match unless you're the second coming of Spider-Man or some athletic super genius. Because you will fail and you will get hurt. Number 5, the slide humiliator. A great little move that will not only get you out of a sticky situation, but potentially also save you a leg break. When chasing down a loose ball to the sideline, step on it to control it and quickly turn around. If the defender is rushing in for a slide tackle, wait until he's close and then do a small chip over his legs while you jump. In fact, the jump could be more important than the chip itself, at least if you like the ability to walk. But get this right a few times and they'll quickly learn that slide tackling you is a pretty bad idea. Number 4 is the outside lift. This is great if you need to change direction on the spot, but there's a defender shadowing you and blocking your path. Running ahead with the defender on your side, you put down your weak foot and then use the outside of the toe on the strong foot to lift the ball in a motion coming from across the body and do a more than 90-degree turn behind the defender's legs. Remember to lift your toes and do it in one smooth motion and you will be unstoppable. Number 3 is the outside elastico, which is great if you're caught on the flank and want to cut inside with your strong foot. Make a touch with the inside of the foot where you make sure you also shift your body weight forward. Then, in the same movement, you angle your strong foot again and use the outside of the toe to tap it 90 degrees away and hopefully out of the defender's reach. It's often easier to do this if you don't just move the ankle, but allow the foot to keep its momentum forward so you don't have to rush it. And number 2, the Bellerin Buster. One of the filthiest moves in the book and completely career-shattering when you do it right. When you've got the defender ahead of you, you do a tap step over with your strong foot and move forward. Then you make another swing with your weak foot, but don't step over the ball and instead put it down just in front of it. And finally, you end the trick by tapping the ball on the outside of him with the outside of your foot while running the other way around. Wrecked!
Number 6, the CR7 chest control, which is a bit of a Cristiano Ronaldo special. Now, with a high ball coming towards you, you control it with your chest and then in the same move without the ball touching the ground, you tap the ball over the unrushing defender's head. Now, timing is key here, so make sure you get a nice touch on the chest control and that the tap over the defender's head isn't too high. And of course, only do this when the defender is close enough so he won't stand a chance. And number 5, the Sanchez switch. Pure filth from back in the days when Alexis was a proper killer dribbling machine. Now, running down the flank, you stop the ball with a bit of an over-exaggerated touch. Now, after that, you gently tap the ball with your weak foot and then immediately switch your feet to use your strong foot to take a proper touch going forward again. And just like Marcelo, the defender won't stand a chance. Number 4, the Di Maria Dazzle, a classic from El Clasico, where Di Maria absolutely obliterated Carles Puyol. Now, running straight at speed, you do a heel chop, cutting inside. And once the ball is again in front of you, you push all your body weight on your inside foot in a small jump, and then immediately switch all your weight and then make a touch in the opposite direction. And maybe the defender won't pull a full Puyol and fall flat on his face, but I guarantee you it will probably work well anyway. Number 2, the CR Circus, which is a bit of a showboat move that you should only do if the defender isn't charging in blindly, but keeps a bit of a distance because he knows you've got a few skills in your locker. Now what you do here is that you tap the ball with the inside of your strong foot into your weak foot that you then tap the ball back with and step over the ball. And just before the ball rolls out of reach, you simply drag it with your strong foot back across your weak foot to move away. Everything is going to be good. But in El Clasico, no one is safe. And with number 1, the Alves, ouch, Dani Alves completely took Cristiano to school. Now with Ronaldo closing him down, he shields the ball and stops it with his right foot. Then he does an inside clockwise step over the ball, then turns his upper body and scoops the ball between Cristiano's open legs. And Ronaldo, mate, you might be one of the GOATs, but you gotta keep them legs closed.
So first off, we have the shirt catch, which is one of the more popular flashy street moves. And that's because it's a skill that many people can get confused by because you're carrying the ball, but you're not actually touching the ball with your hands. Now, it's pretty clever, but of course isn't allowed on the pitch. However, it's a fun little move and you can actually do it in 2 different ways, where you either flick the ball up and then catch it with your shirt, or where you flick the ball up and lock it in between your stomach and your shirt. The skill move is not that hard when you know it, but it's however important to practice it a few times to get the flick up in just the right height and then also nail the timing with the shirt. Secondly, we have the running knee lock. Now this move is also a pretty easy one, but don't underestimate how effective it can be in the schoolyard, especially in pissing people off. Now, of course, this move is not legal when playing a real game because you're not allowed to lock the ball and carry it. But who in the schoolyard actually knows that? And if they do, does it really matter? Now, to do this move, you flick the ball up with your strong foot and then catch it in between either your thighs or your knees. Of course, for the boys out there, try not to catch it too far up to minimize the risk to, you know. Other than that, you just squeeze your legs closely and tightly together when you catch the ball and then run as fast as you can in this duck-like style. Looks stupid, but good luck with it. For the next skill, we have this creative way of juggling with the ball, which I've decided to call anti-hand juggling, because we definitely don't use our hands for this one, right? Okay, maybe I wouldn't go to court on that argument. However, it's a fun little trick, although you might not get away with it in the schoolyard either. I mean, people will be onto you, but the trick itself is pretty self-explanatory. But one thing to keep in mind is to keep the ball moving so that you're juggling the ball and not carrying it per se. This will give you the best odds for convincing your friends that this move is, in fact, legal. And good luck with that as well, because that's going to be even harder than doing the trick itself. For the fourth illegal skill, we have the seal dribble. And you might think that it is, in fact, a legal move, but it's actually a bit unclear whether it's allowed or not. Now, according to the 2019-20 version of the football laws, the seal dribble is legally dubious because the player is playing in a dangerous manner, because people will come and kick the ball off his face. Now, with that said, it is more than legal in the schoolyard. It's encouraged. The seal dribble can be initiated in different ways, but the 2 most common ways is through kicking the ball up while juggling or flicking it up from a footstool. And after that, you just bounce the ball on your head for as long as you can and hope that no one comes to try and kick it away, because they might miss and hit your face. The last banned skill is the running next door. This is a classic street or schoolyard skill which can be very annoying when someone decides to pull out. This skill is the same as the seal dribble in terms of legality, which means that, in theory, it is legal, but it can also be dubious due to dangerous play. But if you dare to pull this off in the schoolyard, you'll definitely beat a couple of players. Now, to initiate the next door, you usually flick the ball up with your foot. However, it can be a good idea to first just put it up there with your hands to get a feel for having the ball on your neck and running with it. Another idea could also be to just make your goalkeeper put the ball on your neck and then just start running. See how far you get. Now, to catch and make the ball stay once you get good at it, you need to lean forward, lift your head, actually tilt it a bit back, and then take back your elbows and thereby create a sort of ball where the ball can lay. And, of course, if the next door seems too difficult, you can go and watch a full tutorial if you click the eye in the corner of your screen. The first confusing skill is this super smooth trap, where you pretend to bend down, put your foot on the ball, and tie your laces. And then, when the opponent sticks out their foot, you quickly roll the ball back and go past them like the most natural thing in the world. One thing to have in mind though when doing this trick is to master the length of your faking roll to the side. Now, if you roll it too long, you won't be able to reach it again, and if you roll it too short, the opponent might not fall for the fake. And you want that to happen. So get the roll right. Next up, we have a creative way of doing a fake shot, which, I'll admit it, confused me a lot the first time I saw it. But I actually think that this skill could be pulled off in a real match as well. Now, most people already know the normal fake shot, so it can be a good idea to spice it up sometimes and give the opponent something he or she hasn't seen before. And I don't think they will have seen this. So if there's a teammate behind you that you can let the ball roll to, turning a fake shot into a stretch when your foot is raised, it'll definitely leave the defenders wondering what on earth they just saw. For the third skill, we have the mousetrap, which is all about baiting the opponent and luring them in. Just like the tie your laces trap, this skill is about making the opponent think you just lost control of the ball, when in reality, you're about to embarrass them. There are different ways to pull off this move, but the essential thing is that after you roll the ball out, you have to pretend that you fail getting the ball back, and then quickly snatch it with the toes of your foot right before the opponent gets it. And if you want to learn this move more in depth, you can watch PWG teach it to you via the link in the corner of your screen. He's great at it. Just go learn from the master. But now take a look at this one. This is the ghost pass, and you need some top level acting to pull it off. But if you do, I promise you that the crowd, if there is one at least, will go crazy. The important thing to focus on when doing this move is your shoulders. You drop your shoulders while doing the pass to make the defender follow you instead of the ball, and then immediately you make a sharp cut to go back and pick up the ball. But guys, this is not one for the important matches, and if you fail doing it, and you might because it's risky, don't tell anyone who told you about it. Now, the last confusing skill I have for you is the jump roll. This trick is a smooth one and will do its part in confusing the defender. Now, with this skill, you jump into the air slightly to your right or left side, which obviously, hopefully at least, will confuse the defender. Then right when you've reached the top of your jump and are starting to fall back, you roll the ball to the side, leaving the defender behind. And with this skill, it's important to remember to jump slightly towards either side, so the defender will put weight on that leg, making it difficult for them to follow you when you make your move and roll the ball out.
But now, on to the first skill, which this time I'm not even gonna try and name. So here's what it looks like.
Now, the mindset of this skill is that you can either use it as a really cool way of flicking the ball up, or you can lift the ball with your heel over yourself as well as your defender, if you happen to have the defender right on the other side of your back. And essentially what you just want to do is roll the ball back with your weak foot, lift it up with the inside of your strong foot, and once again heel it over yourself with the heel of your weak foot. And if we take all the steps a little bit closer, you want to start off by having the ball in front of you, underneath your weak foot. And you want to roll the ball back and immediately step across your body with your weak foot like this. Now why you want to do that is pretty simple. You are basically positioning yourself as well as your body for the next step of the skill, which is of course you flicking the ball up like this. And what you want to make sure is that you actually lift the ball high enough off the ground so you can get the right angle to heel the ball over yourself. Think about it. If you end up heeling the ball in a position like this, well, we can kind of everybody see that my heel is pointing in this direction and we want it to go over our bodies. So we need to be in a position like this. You want to lean over a little bit and have your heel pointing this direction, which obviously makes sense with the basic laws of physics. And if we combine all the steps, you should end up with a skill that looks like this. Defender on your back, lift the ball up, and go. Now, the skill number 2 is actually one of my favorite football skill moves of all time. And while I mainly use it as a flick up move, if you have the balls to pull this off against an opponent and a defender, you are a proper bowler. Now, just like with the previous skill, we're gonna start off with the ball underneath our weak foot in front of us. But unlike with the first skill, where we step across our body after rolling the ball back, this time we're actually gonna roll the ball through our legs like this, before moving on to the most important step of this skill, which is flicking the ball up with the toes of your strong foot behind your butt like this. Now, what you wanna do, I'm gonna demonstrate this sideways to you guys. You roll the ball back, like I just said, you let the ball go over your butt. You flick the ball up with your toes in the air and perform this weird scissor kick like this. You roll the ball back, flick it up, and immediately heel the ball over yourself. And just like with the previous skill, you wanna make sure you are leaning forwards while preparing yourself for the heel strike, because just like we learned in the previous skill with the laws of physics, if your heel is pointing there, the ball is gonna go over there, and we are trying to make the ball go over our heads. So you need to lean forward and heel the ball in a position like this. And when you put all the pieces together, you should end with a skill that looks like this.
Number 5, the scoop Marseille turn, which is a brilliant move if you receive the ball and want to go forward, but then some jerk shows up and spoils the fun by actually blocking your path. Now the trick here is to, when you receive the ball, then you do a chop as the first touch. And as the defender is then lunging for the ball, you stretch for it using your strong foot and drag it back towards you. Now in the same motion, you start twisting your body towards your weak foot, and after that, you simply complete the Marseille turn by dragging the ball with you and away from the defender using your weak foot, a little bit like this. Number 3 is the Kreuz turn, which is a move that can both look really good but actually also be pretty effective. Now facing the defender, you can go to either side of him, which will force him to chase you down. And when he's getting close to you, you simply swing your foot trying to fake a shot, but instead of actually hitting the ball, you scoop it backwards using the inside of your foot in a slingshot-like motion. After you've gained control, the defender is probably getting close again, but then you simply just do a soul roll to move away from him once more. So you can wheel away with a cheeky grin on your face. Number 2 is a move I call the stop panna, which is equal parts flashy and equal parts awesome. And if you're chasing a loose ball against a defender and you count on getting there first, well, this is a pretty cool trick to use. Now here, granted that of course you get to the ball first, you step on the ball with the sole of your foot and then you drag it back by sliding your boot down the ball. And in the same motion, without ever letting your foot go from the ball, you then scoop the ball between his legs in a fluid motion so you can run away. Now, Kevin De Bruyne got chopped down and won a free kick, but who knows, maybe you won't. And finally, number 1, the KDB turn. Because it could kind of only be this. Running down the sideline chasing a loose ball with an opponent in your back. You simply stop the ball with your left foot and then you turn your body, shielding the ball a little bit against your opponent. Then of course, you drag the ball towards you with the sole of your foot. And to land the final blow once the opponent closes in, you simply chuck the ball between his legs with the outside of your foot. So he can basically kiss his dignity. Bye-bye.
Number 1, the Hassah Special. Now, Eden Hazard has evolved a lot as a player over the years, and we feel like he kinda needs to get back to his good old showboating roots. Therefore, Hazard, if you're watching this, please take notes. Roll the ball to the side using the top of your strong foot, then roll it back again whilst performing a jumping step over with your weak foot. Watch out, he's a Hazard.
First up is the Neymar Rocket, which I think you might have seen before. It's essentially a variation of the classic rainbow, but here instead you use both feet to kind of throw the ball over your head in a rainbow-like motion. Before we started shooting, PWG said that it was like watching girls jumping on the beach, like that, and he's kind of right. Now the thing is that it might be a little bit difficult to land when you start doing it, but once you understand the right motion you have to do with your feet and your body, it can be pretty useful if you're stuck in a corner with some defenders around you and the only way to get out is to go over them. Now, the thing that helped me in landing this trick was to use my right foot to kind of guide the ball, get it over my head, and then to lock the ball against my right foot by pressing my left foot in against the ball, locking it in place. Then you basically just have to do the jump and remember to lean forward to make sure that the ball goes up and over you instead of just straight up into the air. Because if it does, it's basically just a flick up. Next up, I have a trick that we can call the scoop rainbow. And yeah, it's a pretty risky move. But again, if you're stuck in a corner, defenders behind you, and the only way out is to pull a Hail Mary, you can do the scoop rainbow, take it over your own and their heads, and get out that way. Now, it's basically a very easy scoop motion over your head. So you have to take your scooping foot, put your toes very far underneath the ball. You have to touch the ball as far in as you can basically go without pushing it. Then you initiate the scoop by stepping forward with your weak foot, and you just lift the ball up with that one smooth, fluid, scooping rainbow motion. All you have to do then is to lean a little bit back with your upper body to help the ball go in that direction. Think of it as if you have a shovel, you want to shovel some dirt. Because I guess everyone can relate to that, right? Anyways, have a shovel, throw some dirt. It's that motion right there that you want to do. Now, I mentioned how the Neymar Rocket is essentially a variation of the classic rainbow flick. So of course, we're also going to take a look at the standard rainbow flick, or the Chapeo, as it's called if you're in Brazil. Now, it can be done in a lot of different ways, but the way I do it, when I do it, because I totally do it all the time, but the way I would do it is I would take my weak foot, step in front of the ball with my heel pointing towards the ball. Then I would use the instep of my strong foot to lock the ball against my weak foot. I would roll the ball a little bit up my weak foot with the strong foot, do a jump, and push the heel of my weak foot into the air. Of course, I also have to remember to lean to make sure that the ball, as you saw, just goes right up into the air, but actually goes over me. So if you get the right combination of locking, lifting, and leaning, combined with a little bit of speed, there's a very good chance you'll now have landed the rainbow flick or the Chapeo, depending on where you're watching.
And to celebrate that success, let's reward ourselves with a few slightly more difficult moves. In fact, they're so difficult that I can't do them yet. So I called on one of the best freestylers in the world, who also happens to be close by, to show me. Take it away, Phil.
Boy, oh boy, this trick really hits different when done right, but that is actually the difficult part about this trick, doing it right. So start by doing a Ronaldinho flick with your side facing your opponent. So start by rolling the ball with your sole towards your other foot. Then put your foot down behind your foot with crossed legs. And now you want to do a little step and heel the ball with the foot that you just put down. So like so. And then you want to get the ball over your head and your opponent's head. But the difficult part here is to get it while running. So you should practice this.
Wait. Running, moving, as in running, doing it?
Yep.
What? You serious?
So you should start practicing it standing still. Now, finally leaving the match-friendly skills behind and moving on to a skill that probably won't be done in a real 11-a-side game, but will definitely rack up some views when playing 5-a-side with your friends. This is the gut sombrero flick, which is basically a mix between the gut flick and the sombrero flick. So start with your foot on the ball and roll the ball with your sole towards the same foot, and then put your foot down and let the ball bounce up. As you do that, just add a little bit of a tap with your toe to get the ball a little bit higher, and then when it's in the air, tap the ball with your toes and move it to the side, and then move your body away from the ball and get the ball over your opponent's head, but not your own.
The first skill is one Ronaldo used most often in his Manchester United days. So he'd have the ball on the sideline, and there was two phases to this move that made it so effective. The first phase is to bait the defender, and the second phase is to push the ball past them and accelerate. So the first phase is stepping over the ball and then using your back foot, the inside, to push it to the inside of the pitch. That makes the defender think that's where you're going with the ball, so they lunge for this, and then you can quickly use the inside of the same foot to then push the ball down the line. So it has to be a quick movement and all in one fluid action. So we step in front of the ball, our back foot pushes it to the inside, then it's a quick snap, and then we accelerate up the line. The second iconic Ronaldo skill is a move that's almost like the Elastico, but of course Ronaldo being Ronaldo, he adds his own spice to it to make it unique to him. So once again, he's showing the defender, making it look like he's going to go to the inside, and he takes a little touch forward with the heel of his right foot. And then because he has really quick feet, he then snaps his foot to the inside, making the ball go down the line, and then he accelerates away. So two phases once again. The first phase, push it forward with the heel, then almost in one movement like an Elastico, we snap our foot to the inside and accelerate away. Moving into the third skill, and this is a move I haven't seen any other player do other than R9 Ronaldo Fenomeno, arguably one of the best Brazilian players of all time. So for this skill, there's 3 steps. The first step is to place your foot on top of the ball and use the sole of the foot to drag it back towards you 45 degrees. And then the second step is to hop off of our standing leg and use the inside of the foot to push it back in the same direction the ball just came from. So you drag it back towards you, hop off of your standing leg, and you're going to push it back where it just came from. Final step is to hit the ball with the inside of your opposite foot 45 degrees in the opposite direction once again, and this is where we accelerate away. So the first 2 steps are to bait the defender, so you drag it back towards you, hit it back, that makes the defender lunge for the ball, then you're going to use the inside of the foot, hit the ball past their foot, and you can accelerate away. The fourth skill is one used by another Brazilian legend, Robinho. And there's a few more steps to this one, but if used in the right areas, this one can be really effective. So the first step is pushing the ball out 90 degrees from where we're standing. So we push the ball out 90 degrees, and then we're going to use a Rabona kicking technique to make it seem like we're going to strike the ball. So the Rabona is when we use our striking leg, go behind our standing foot and strike the ball. But instead of striking the ball, what Robinho does, he hops over the ball and pushes the ball back in the direction it came from. So he hops over, uses the top of his striking foot, pushes the ball back, and he uses this to bait the defender into lunging for the ball. As that defender lunges, he pulls the ball back towards himself, then uses the inside of that same foot, pushes it across, transfers feet, and then pushes it beyond the defender where he can accelerate away. So let's piece it all together here. So we push the ball 90 degrees, hop over the ball, push it back in the direction we just came from, pull the ball away from the defender's foot, croquette around, and accelerate away.
And that, my friends, was 50 skills you can learn in a little over 40 minutes. But which was your favorite and what should we look into next? Well, let me know everything in the comment section right down below. Don't forget to go out there and train. But before you do that, remember to subscribe to the channel with the notifications on if you haven't done so already. And if you want to learn more skills, there will be a playlist on your screen right now. And with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.